I'm Robin Collins. I have 25 years of law enforcement experience in Macon County. Public servant, town of Notasulga for a little over 18 years. I'm committed to a public servant and serving the people. And first of all, you got to do intelligence. And then in order to do intelligence, you got to get into the community with the people in the community. Once you develop a trust in the people and they can trust you, then they will call you and give you that information. You have to run surveillance, identify vehicles, tag numbers, and that information to identify the person that's either directly or indirectly involved in drug trafficking. If it's a really hot spot during your surveillance, then we got what we call a controlled purchase from the location, whether it be from a residence or a vehicle. Once we do a couple of controlled purchases, the next step will be to get a search warrant, and you got 72 hours to execute that search warrant. Then you rain on their parade. One is there's not continuous enforcement on it. You know, when I say not continuous, even the state, even locally, when we go out and run an operation for a couple of 3 months, then as soon as you finish that one, you need to start all over again with another one. Well, sometimes it's 6 months, 9 months before another operation is set up and off and running, especially with the state and the federal on the level. When they come in, they may run an operation for 2 years. And once they take them down, it might be 2 years before they come back to do anything else. But they still constantly gather the intelligence. But one of the things I want to put in place is a fugitive task force. And the reason why I want it to be all agencies in Macon County to be a part of it is because that person that's on the task force will be able to run an operation in the area of in his jurisdiction where he is at. Say for instance, if you got a member of the fugitive task force here in Shorter, well, he can work informants and gather intelligence on this end of town while it's going on in another section of town, and while we got something going on in the county. Then simultaneously, all this comes together, and we got one big roundup. But once you do it, continuous efforts need to be put on it to curb and combat that problem. Any level of training or advancement through the sheriff office will trickle down to other law enforcement agencies here. We would encourage them to have their people to attend training locally. And when you've got, my goal is to get certified instructors so that we can keep everybody up to speed as to what's going on, and to really put emphasis on that. If I'm successful in being elected sheriff, what I plan to do is prior to taking office, is to do an application to get into the FBI Academy, which I've been in touch with the right people that I need to talk to with FBI, and that's on the table for me, and that's something that would be good for the county and for the safety of the citizens as well. My plan would be through the resource officers that's placed in our schools. If we start with our kids young, at a young age, have a certified deputy with the proper credentials or degree to teach the kids about the criminal justice, the laws, and how the criminal justice system works. that trickles. If you catch them, get with them in elementary school, on up through their senior year, and they'll have a better understanding about how the criminal justice system works, and hopefully that would enable them to make a more positive decision before they think about being let off to a different path of life. Definitely need to be enhanced, because basically what you see is when a new person comes in, I think the orientation is not up to the level that it should be, and I don't think enough emphasis is being put on the department's SOP, the SOP for the jail personnel, and as well as the dispatchers that covers everything from answering the phone. So that would be enhanced a lot, and the procedures that are already in place will follow, and then I think the department will be more respected by the community when they conduct themselves in a professional manner. It starts from soon as this deputy gets in that patrol car, or that investigator gets into his car. He goes out and he gets a call out on a theft or whatever it may be. The process starts with the first responder. Once that's done, if it's a felony situation, it's handed off to the investigator. If it's a misdemeanor situation, then that deputy's responsibility is to make sure that report is completed and make sure that the victim has been advised of every step of the way that they need to do from that point on. And then vice versa of that with the investigator. At the end of the 30-day period, you would go back and look at all of the complaints that came in through the office for 30 days to look at the status of them, whether they were inactive or they were cleared by arrest, or whether they are unfounded or administratively cleared. That will be full accountability for the department and for the citizen or victim is concerned. We would want to serve on that committee ordinary citizens, preferably 2 from each district, maybe even 3. You know, we're gonna look at trying to get it set up and get it started so that the citizen will have the best representation that comes out of this committee. Would I bring them to the table and say, this is how the sheriff department works. This is how I need your input. This is the way, show them ways to get input without a person revealing themselves. We all know that people in the community share information with each other, and they prefer not to share it with law enforcement, but they will share it with their committee person, and that person will still be anonymous. All we want is the information, and as long as that the citizens and law enforcement is on the same page, I think you'll see a big reduction in criminal activity in these neighborhoods. I think it'll be a real positive program, and it's important to note that it's the first one ever to be implemented by anybody in law enforcement in Macon County. Throughout my 30-year law enforcement career, I have always treated everyone with respect and treat people like I want to be treated. Have a track record of being an honest person with tremendous law enforcement experience and integrity that goes along with it. And asking them to give me an opportunity to serve